Hey, welcome to Dentistry Gone Wild, the official podcast for mobile and teledentistry. And I'm Sonya Dunbar, the geriatric tooth fairy, and I'm so excited to be here with my partner in dentistry, Melissa.
What is up, Sonya? Hello. I am happy to be with you all for another Monday. We're just having a ball here at Dentistry Gone Wild, and we can't wait to bring you another amazing guest. Today, usually we have some chit chat in the beginning, right? Sonya and I kind of catch up, but today we're like, no, let's just get to the guest. So we have an amazing dental practice owner, mobile dental practice owner from Canada. So her name is Tina Mavriyannakis. Tina, we love you. Thank you for being here. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I love you guys too. Doing great.
Yeah.
Sitting here in Canada.
Yeah. So tell us what part of Canada, because I'm sure that's going to be the first question that everyone's going to ask us in emails after this, right?
So we're in Toronto, and Toronto, Ontario. And we did before the pandemic have some presence in Western Canada as well. But since the pandemic, we've just been in Ontario, and hopefully soon we can expand again across Canada. But I'm personally in Toronto.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, okay, so you're a mobile dental practice owner.
Right.
Tell us what type of mobile dentistry that you do? Mobile, portable? Do you have a fixed dental practice at all? Can you give us the lowdown on what it is, how your business is developed?
Sure. So my business is called The Smile Room. I founded it about 3 years ago. We're just coming up on our 3rd anniversary, and it's a dental hygiene practice. So hygienist owned, and we provide hygiene services. We begun doing our services in corporate dentistry or corporate offices. So we would bring our portable units into conference rooms and provide dental hygiene services, mostly cleanings and whitening for the employees of different corporate offices. Just before the pandemic, I was in Florida at the National Mobile Dentistry Conference. And while there, I was so completely just inspired and got to meet so many amazing people. So the plan was set that when I got back, we were going to add 2 arms to our practice and do residential and elder care. So I got back from Florida in February 2020, and then the world ended.
Y2K came, right?
Basically. So, well, it was almost impossible to get into elder care settings, and residential, same thing. Condominiums weren't letting any third parties coming to their spaces, and our corporate offices had no one in them because everyone was working from home. Mm-hmm. So we went through a bunch of months of just planning and deferring and replanning and pivoting, and a year later, we are now, we've been back into a couple of our co-working spaces, which is awesome. And we've been in a couple of residential condominiums. And the one thing that now definitely seems to get a lot of attention and we're getting into is elder care. So a lot of the facilities, nursing homes and long-term care facilities haven't been able to have anybody in there to provide the care for their residents over the past year. So there's definitely the need for it now more than ever. And the nice thing is that most of the residents and most of the staff in these places have now been vaccinated. So everyone feels a lot more safe letting us in, which has been great. So that's where we're at.
That is great. Now, let me ask you, when you go to, because I'm always finding, I call corporate dentistry when you go into people job. I call it the grown and sexy dentistry.
Right.
So give us a visual from the
Mhm.
dentist or the hygienists that are out in the community that may think, hey, I want to go knock on the the school board district where the teacher, you're not where the teachers are, but maybe the school board building where
Right.
the administratives are.
Like
And
teacher's pension plan. Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
How does that look? Do you come up with the van and people come out and get in your van, or do you do like kind of pop up and put up these walls like boom, boom, boom? And how does that look?
I wish it was that easy. Boom, boom, boom.
I mean, it
We
just
make
seems
it
so
look that
dramatic.
easy. So we do portable, as opposed to having vans in the traditional sort of mobile dentistry. Initially, when I was planning this business and putting it together, I looked at all the different logistics and what was available and what delivery systems and whatnot. And one of the great benefits of me being a hygienist is that I get to actually do the work and see how it works and tweak it and whatnot. And I think that's one of the downfalls as well, because I always think, well, I can do that in case whatever. So it takes away. So I can wear a couple of different hats, which isn't always the best thing. But so initially the plan was that I was going to do all the hygiene. And there was something a little bit, I didn't love the idea of driving a van to a corporate office and saying, hey, come into my van and have your teeth cleaned. So when I saw the portable units and how amazingly portable they really are, that was, and it just made it that much easier to explain to the employers that we're really not even getting them to come down the elevator to a van outside, that we were going to be in your conference room. They just had to walk down the hall. So in the winter in Toronto, you don't have to put your coat and your boots and your hat and all that just to go down. You literally just walk away from your desk, have your services done and walk back. So we do that. We show up, we put up all the cool walls and whatnot.
Here we go.
And we, again, depending on what the space is, a lot of offices now, it's all very sort of glass walls and see-through and everything. So we create temporary walls and barriers and whatnot to give people the privacy that they need. But we do take over one of their offices or conference rooms for the day or for the week. And then we put up signs throughout the whole office as to where to go. And they get reminder emails about their appointments that tell them exactly which room to go to on what floor. And that's how we set it up. And in residential, we're trying to duplicate the same thing. So we take over party rooms in buildings, or if there's a spare unit in a building, we will take it over for the day and then just send the information to the people as they've booked their appointment to know where to go.
Oh, I like, I'm not, 1 minute, ma'am. Let me just say this. I like the name, just giving someone a name, Takeover Dentistry.
There you go.
You come in and you take over a empty office, take over hygiene, take over dentistry. I was just feeling that. I mean, for some entrepreneur, some entrepreneur out there listening to this amazing Tina take over dentistry. What is this bright idea? I know you got to say. I see your wheels turning. What is that?
Sonya, I think you're gonna be that entrepreneur to start that. I mean, come on. What's one more business to your name, right?
No more.
Well, no. So Tina, to your point, that's really something that I've never thought of before about all the glass walls. Now that everything is open floor plan, I mean, now you have a little bit more logistics to work out, to make sure everything is secure and private. And I know orthodontists have that too, is this open bay floor plan doesn't work anymore because of the privacy issues and stuff like that. So I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm sure that as folks start these businesses and go into corporate headquarters and do grown and sexy mobile dentistry, they're not thinking of that right away, right? They're not thinking of the open floor plan. And honestly, I don't know why that has taken off so much, because when I call a business, okay, here we go. Here I go. When I call a business and I hear somebody else talking on the phone in the background, I'm like, just Yes, it's like, okay, open floor plans do not work on
I
many
agree.
levels. But
I
anyway,
agree.
okay.
I agree. But somehow, I guess it's just what you get used to, and you tune people out because you're wearing earphones and they're wearing earphones. But I think to us who are typically not wearing earphones in our workspaces,
There you go.
it's awkward and it's weird. And I
It's
guess
a HIPAA violation.
we have health conversations, I guess, on the phone. And it's not stuff I want to have that in front of everybody, right? So we have a lot of pull-up posters that we create all these partitions and cozy little spaces in these big open spaces.
Yeah. And it really is, for me, one of the biggest benefits and assets of mobile dentistry
Mhm.
is that it is one of the most beautiful and natural forms of marketing out there. I mean, you said it yourself, Tina. You go into the workplace, you go into the residential tower, and you put up all these signs, and they're not even signs that are trying to sell people. It's just an arrow that says, "Here you
Oh,
go,
this
get your dental visit." Yeah, with
right,
your logo. And that
right.
is the most brilliant form of marketing out there because
Mhm.
there's no pressure to the one who's looking at it. And they're like, oh, it piques their interest. And it's like, okay,
Absolutely,
oh, something's happening, and it creates FOMO. And so I don't know if
absolutely.
anybody needs sold on mobile dentistry. I mean, just that alone. I mean, how many thousands
Oh,
of dollars do we put into dental marketing every month
I
in
know.
Canada and America? So, Tina, tell us this. So, coming from the US,
Mhm.
um, we are super familiar with mobile dentistry and
Right.
telehealth and teledentistry in the US.
Mhm.
But what is it like? What does the landscape look like in Canada for mobile and then for telehealth? Because I know that's probably a separate topic in itself, a separate kind
Right.
of statistic there. So
Yeah.
what's it like there?
So mobile dentistry, again, I've been in dentistry for more years than I care to share. But so to me, having been in the dental world for 20 some odd years, I never spent 2 minutes thinking about mobile dentistry. So I think you don't even think about it until you stumble across it. And once I've gotten into mobile dentistry, I've met quite a few hygienists, especially, who go into long-term care facilities. So they're independent hygienists who go in and they have a relationship with specific clients in these long-term care facilities. I haven't come across another company that does it sort of systematically, where we're going to approach the business or approach the long-term care facility and say, we're here to provide the service for all of your residents, and let's try and put them on a plan, and let's try and create a repeatable process here, where we're coming in here on a regularly pre-scheduled sequence so that they can plan around that. Because that was one of the big things that we found going into corporate spaces. It was great to go the first time, but then the patients who had been through our system wanted to know, well, so you're telling me I should get my teeth cleaned in 3 months again. Are you going to be here in 3 months?
Yeah.
Right. So that was one of the things that, again, being a hygienist, it was important for me to be able to provide that continuity of care. So that's one of the things that I don't necessarily think is a common thing with mobile dentistry. So with mobile dentistry, it's sort of one of dealing with a situation that needs to be dealt with. So there's an emergency or someone who's bedridden and someone goes into their home just for a specific thing, a toothache, maybe a cleaning once in a blue moon, or so nothing sort of very systematic and a recare process. As far as teledentistry goes, again, I think it's very similar to the States. It was something that some offices had dabbled into in a pretty casual way, but the pandemic really put a push into that. And whether it's done in a sort of makeshift way, or if it's actually gone through proper channels of, the proper softwares that are HIPAA compliant and all that. So even with us, we had been talking about obviously doing teledentistry, and I had toyed back and forth with the idea of partnering up with dental practices so that we could do dental examinations for our patients, because that was, again, one of the services that we couldn't offer because we didn't have dentists on staff. So the pandemic really put the push I needed onto that to say, we need to have teledentistry. It's not optional. Because especially patients who are a little bit still nervous about going into dental practices, they've had us come into their space and there's a professional dental hygienist, dental assistant, whoever it might be, who's in their mouth for whatever reason, can now complete that cycle and have the images and have a dentist sort of on a teledental format do a full examination. And that to patients is more valuable than anything, because you're taking away that sort of nervous energy about, well, now I have to, okay, so you've been in my mouth, I've had to take my mask off and you've been inside my mouth, and now you're asking me to go to a whole new space again, expose myself to potential viruses to have someone else check my teeth. So I think the pandemic definitely pushed telehealth altogether forward by years, and just by default teledentistry even more so. So the laws also became a lot more lenient, which is great. So some of what was ambiguous or not well defined very quickly got defined by the colleges. So the College of Dental Surgeons said, go ahead, do whatever you can in a teledentistry manner so that you can avoid coming and going of patients within your practices.
Can we take just a moment, and Sonya, and then I'm gonna give it over to you in a moment. But can we talk about what reimbursement looks like for teledentistry in Canada? Because I know that is your whole reimbursement system is completely different than how we do things here in the States. So what does teledentistry reimbursement look like for you? Do they designate this is teledentistry, this is not, or does reimbursement look the same from insurance providers?
Sorry, I lost you guys for a little bit. Reimbursement. So again, as far as dental examinations go, as long as it's a synchronous appointment, it will get reimbursed just like it does. So there isn't even a different code for it. You would use the same code as you would in the practice. So it's amazing. And then the other thing, even as far as being able to take x-rays on patients. So our practice wasn't really doing x-rays because in order for us to take x-rays, we need a prescription from a dentist. And in order for the dentist to give a prescription for x-rays to the patient, they'd have to have a patient-dentist relationship with them, which was hard to establish beforehand. But with the teledentistry, it's established. So there it is. We can take x-rays, we can do a full proper examination, treatment planning and all that, and then decide where they need to go from there.
That's pretty neat. And one thing that I want to put on the table here, Tina, is that when hygienists and I'm so glad that you described so detailed how your practice works. But when hygienists when they're deciding to start a mobile dental practice, it's so important to decide how that's going to look.
Right.
Whether it's mobile dentistry or mobile hygiene. Because something that you said is the consistency of appointments. Are you going to see me for 3 months and then don't see me again for another year? I have to go someplace else. And when I was thinking about opening up and started going into nursing home, long-term care facilities, I talked to other hygienists that were doing it, and they were the hygienists that I spoke to were like, I can't get a dentist. I don't want a dentist. I want to do this on my own. I'm gonna have a hygiene program. And I cheer for them for that. But I know the demographic that I'm working with, and I cannot go into a nursing home and see a person that needs a tooth pulled or that has rampant decay, that needs something more than silver diamond fluoride. And I know that's not in my scope of practice. So when I started, I partnered with dentists.
Right.
So with my mobile practice, we have dentists. So we go every month. So
Amazing.
we go. I see the same people every month, unless they
Mhm.
get off my program or unless they expire.
Right.
Um, or or some people say transition, but
Right.
because from month to month, we have people who from we just went today and they
Mhm.
haven't probably had their dentures removed since last month. And that's just a reality of the care that goes on even after COVID in some of these long-term care facilities, which is
Mhm.
awful. We can retrain the staff, but it's such a now it's even worse turnover
Yeah.
because the CNAs do not want to stay. They're afraid for the COVID. And then I'm just going to be honest, they probably make more money staying at home with the stimulus and
Probably.
unemployment. They're probably
Mhm.
making more money staying at home and they're not in danger. So it was already hard getting the staff to take care of the residents' mouth. And
Mhm.
not saying that they're bad, they just have a lot, they're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And so now, so I say that to say this, it's a need for dental professionals. I think every nursing home needs to have a hygienist on staff, just
Amen.
between,
Agreed.
just to put the holy grail down. Have the
Agreed.
dentist, and if you're in a state where that you need a prescription by the dentist, have them come in, give the prescription, and then they come as needed. But
Mhm.
someone, as a dental professional, needs to be in their mouths every day, in my opinion. But to say, I wanted to say to you, if you're a hygienist and you're thinking about going into mobile, I need you to think really hard at what demographic you're going to serve. Because if you're going to serve the elderly or little kiddos and they need extractions, they have rampant decay, know your scope of practice and know what you can do and just really think, is it sometimes it's worth it partnering with the dentist. I know we want to be strong and do that, and I admire hygienists who do that. I really
Right.
take my hat off, but there's just certain things that we cannot do that certain demographics need. Popping up on people's jobs, yeah, you can do the cleanings. They're younger, they move around, they have their own vehicles. You can refer them to, reference them, refer them out to a dentist in the area, and you can
Yeah.
do the cleaning and whitening because that's growing and sexy. But if you have
Exactly.
someone that's in a wheelchair, jerry chair, don't have their own mobile, you need a dentist to come to them. If you have a kid who mother or dad may not bring them to the dentist, the only dentist is they're going to see is in school or in a
Mhm.
Head Start program, and we need to do all that we can on that van at that time. So I just want to encourage people when they're thinking about going mobile to really think long and hard about the demographic you're going to service, and then think about that collaboration.
Absolutely.
Collaboration is so important to collaborate as dental professionals. If nothing else, that this pandemic should have taught us that we all need one another. We all
Absolutely.
need to collaborate. The dentist need the hygienist, and the hygienists work good with the dentist. No, okay, hygienists need the dentist. The hygienists, we need the
We all
dentist.
need each other.
We
And then
do. We do.
hygienists work good with the dentist. But we as hygienists, I'm just going to put it on the table. If you're going to do certain dentistry, we need the dentist, period. We all need
Absolutely.
each other, but we need the dentist. I mean, we just didn't go to school that long. I hate to be the one to say that, but
Well, it's
we're
just
not a
scope of
doctor.
practice
I mean,
too.
I'm just being honest. Some hygienists
Yeah.
think they're little baby doctors, but we're not doctors. We're hygienists.
Right.
Everybody need to know their place. You know what? I'm just being honest. People gonna be mad, growl, grit your teeth. But if you're not a dentist, if that DDS or that DMD not behind your name, if you
Yeah.
got an R and a D and an H behind your name, I don't care what else behind it, assistant, therapist, ophthalmologist. But if you don't have DDS or DMD, bottom line, you
You're
just
not
not a
pulling that
dentist.
tooth.
So just learn that. Stop trying to be baby junior dentist. You know what I'm saying? I'm
I
sorry.
agree.
That's just how I feel. Pray for me. Somebody needs to
And to your point, it is exactly your demographic that determines that too. So, 2 years of going into corporate sexy dentistry, it was never an issue not to have a dentist. We had dentists that we could refer to. We had, to your point, a lot of the people we would see had dentists, just maybe, in the suburbs where their parents were and where they grew up, but now they live downtown and they haven't been up there in 3 years, 5 years, whatever. So if there was an issue, we could very easily refer them. But going into long-term care facilities, it's you have to, and it's a completely different ball game. Yeah.
amazing. Well, Tina, you know what? You've shared a wealth of information with us. We see dentistry. I mean, you're doing some stuff. I don't think a lot of hygienists can do. in the United States. Colorado, California. We're so jealous of you right now, but they can do kind of what you're doing. But
Right.
it's just amazing, and thank you for sharing so much of this great
Thank
information that you have, and what you're doing in Canada. And thank you for just being a bold trailblazer, in that area. I'm from Detroit, so that's like right across the bridge or right under
It
the tunnel
is. You're
there.
hop,
I
skip,
used
and
to come there all the time.
oh
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
we were supposed to have drinks in my backyard for when you came to Toronto, but that got canceled.
It got blew out of the
Remember?
water. COVID happened. I was
Yes,
so excited about
I
being
know.
there and hanging out with you. But we'll get together again.
Well,
Maybe me and him in Vegas. When you come to Vegas,
that
if they let
sounds
you
good.
get out of there in March of next year, right?
Yep,
Everything's
Yeah.
crossed. Everything's crossed.
everything's crossed.
Thank you.
Tina, thank you so
Yes,
much. If somebody wants to
thank
get
you.
a hold of you, what's the best way to contact you?
Um, on Instagram, honestly, would be the best way. So the Smile Room has a page, and I have a personal page, That Resto Girl, and we're pretty active on Instagram, so that would be a really good place
Yes.
to reach
And
us.
is it the Smile Room or Smile Room?
It's the Smile Room. It's the underscore smile underscore room.
Those underscores, man.
I know.
Were you the one on our version of Shark Tank over there? Was that you? That was
No, no, that was another hygienist who actually does mobile dentistry in a van.
wow. I seen her on. It
Yeah,
wasn't Shark Tank, but it was something like that. But a
it was our
Canadian.
Dragon's Den. It's just
Dragons did. Oh, they're dragons too.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. That was pretty cool.
Well,
Well,
thank
Tina,
you for
thank
sharing.
you. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. You guys are awesome. So it was really an honor to be on your podcast.
And thank you for all you do for the American Mobile and Teledentistry Alliance too. You're a big leader there and
Thank you.
making some good projects and initiatives, just moving them forward with the international chapter and other
We
things like
are
that. So, Tina,
we're
thank you
great.
so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And thank you all for listening. And please click like and share, and please subscribe and rate and review. Yep. And
They
we
don't have
will
to review. Don't rate it.
no review, only if it's good, right?
5
And
stars only.
that's right. We will see you all next week on Dentistry Gone Wild. Love you all.
Thank you, guys.
Don't hang up, Tina.
No.